In the world of green technology, two parallel universes exist. One is a universe of frustration and financial loss. Here's a headline from BBC News. My energy bill has quadrupled since the faulty heat pump install. Here's a comment from a German forum. My system runs continuously at full capacity. Everything was significantly cheaper with my oil heating system. But in the other universe, the conversation is on a completely different level. A Swedish forum, biggerhus.se. My IVT heat pump is 15 years old. Can anyone recommend a good model to upgrade to now? Norwegian Reddit. How do I connect my new heat pump to spot price automation for extra savings? Different expectations and entirely different results. The technology is the same, so the issue isn't the tech, it's the approach. In our last video, we broke down the key questions to ask before you buy, including the 3 most important questions for your installer. Those are tactical tools to protect your investment. But that's just first aid within a system facing implementation challenges. Today, we're auditing the system itself. We'll investigate why, in Scandinavia, those questions are part of a standard procedure, not your personal homework assignment. We will analyze the 3 fundamental principles of their model. This isn't a secret. It's a systemic approach that can be replicated. The first and most critical difference is philosophy. In Germany and the UK, the government message is, here's a subsidy, go buy a heat pump. It's a technology-first approach. But in Scandinavia, the unbreakable principle is house first. It says you start with the foundation. You'll often hear the argument that Germany has a lot of old houses. This is true. Over 60% of its housing stock was built before 1979. But here's the crucial detail. Scandinavia has plenty of old houses too. In Sweden, for example, around 40% of homes were built before 1975. The difference isn't the age of the houses, but the approach to modernizing them. In Scandinavia, decades of policy have encouraged gradual but mandatory upgrades. Getting state support there often starts with an energy audit. The system incentivizes you to fix the heat leaks first. Moreover, a precise engineering heat load calculation, known in Germany as a Heizlastberechnung, is standard practice. This guarantees you don't buy a unit that's oversized or undersized. This pragmatic approach is the first pillar of their success. The second principle is creating favorable economic conditions. Even a perfectly installed heat pump in a well-insulated home can fail to meet expectations if the math is working against you. This phenomenon is called the spark gap, the price difference between a unit of heat from gas and a unit from electricity. A report from Germany's state-owned development bank, KfW Research, directly calls this the main barrier to the market. In Germany, residential electricity is historically far more expensive than gas. Even if your heat pump is 3 times more efficient than your boiler, your payback period can stretch to 15 or 20 years. Scandinavian countries solved this systemically. They don't just subsidize the equipment, they actively manage the spark gap through tax policy. In Norway, for example, the tax burden on residential electricity is among the lowest in Europe. In Sweden, special tariffs and tax reductions exist for electric heating. Their governments create a predictable and stable environment where choosing the green technology is also the smart economic choice from day one. The third principle is about people. The political uncertainty and shifting subsidy rules in Germany, as mentioned in reports by the Federal Heat Pump Association, BWP, have led to market instability. This creates risks related to the quality of installation. An incorrect heat load calculation or a lack of hydraulic balancing are technical errors that directly impact efficiency. In Scandinavia, the principle of guaranteed qualification applies. The market there grew evolutionarily, not explosively. To become a certified installer in Sweden, you have to undergo rigorous training from organizations like SKVP. This creates a high standard of quality that filters out unqualified installers. Reputation and proven expertise are the main assets. This creates a fundamentally different market dynamic. Instead of the consumer having to act like a detective to expose an amateur, the system itself creates quality filters. This builds consumer confidence and raises the overall quality of work, which is critical for the successful rollout of any complex technology. So what is the main lesson from the Scandinavian model? It's built on consistent, long-term, systemic work. First, the foundation. The house is more important than the technology. Second, the economics. The math must work in the consumer's favor. Third, the qualification. The market must be shaped by professional standards. Germany's experience isn't a critique of the heat pump. It's a valuable lesson on the importance of a systemic approach. And this is a blueprint that can be adopted by any country, from the UK to Canada. Before you invest in your green future, audit the system you live in. Does it have these 3 fundamental principles? Here at the Green Audit, we conduct these investigations every week. In our next video, we'll break down why Germany's solar dream ran into the problem of grid saturation and what lessons the world can learn from it. To make sure you don't miss that audit and others that will help you make informed decisions, subscribe now.